Hi, how's it going? Welcome to English with Shola. That's me. So, I've created this presentation as well as the PDF of the slides to help you understand the idiom, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Please feel free to download the presentation, go through slide by slide with me. You can also use it just to practice later. And I've also included the website links that you can click on to see the videos that I refer to for listening practice. Okay, let's get started. So, first of all, do you know what this idiom means? Well, we're going to look at three different meanings. The first one is from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It's to have or enjoy the good parts of something without having to deal with the bad parts. And the other meaning from the Cambridge Dictionary says to have or to do two good things at the same time that are usually impossible to have or to do at the same time. The third meaning is, according to Wikipedia, the proverb literally means you cannot simultaneously retain possession of a cake and eat it too. It's very logical. If you eat it, you no longer have it. So let's look at three synonymous expressions. Sometimes instead of saying you can't have your cake and eat it too, native speakers might say you can't have the best of both worlds, or you can't have it both ways, or you can't butter your bread on both sides. Here are some examples. I've just compiled this short list of links for you. Again, on your PDF online, you can click it. It should go to the video. The first one is an example of formal professional English spoken in a European English accent. This is actually a very brief 1-minute news clip of the EU Council President commenting on Brexit, and he uses the idiom at the very end of his speech. The second link is to a free full-length movie on YouTube, and the title of the movie is Have Your Cake and Eat It Too. I believe this movie was from 2020, so it's not too old. And it's really sweet, and it's about a little girl who grew up baking with her mother and then becomes a baker. So there's also an older film from 1997 with the same title, but I haven't seen that one. I'm not sure what it's about. But as you can imagine, there are many jokes and puns and memes that use this idiom. I've even seen some cake books, like cake recipe books, to teach you how to bake cakes. And this is the title of the book. Now, the next link is for mature audiences only due to some foul language, some curse words that are used. This is a short video of Ben Bailey delivering stand-up comedy, and he uses this idiom. The next clip is back to child, teen appropriate, everyone appropriate, because it's a super brief, like just a few seconds clip of the character from Scrubs, which is an American comedy TV series. And the character just says, you can't have your cake and eat it too, just so you can hear it in a different American accent. Also, the last link, same thing. It's just a few seconds of a character in The Dragon Prince, this animated series, saying the idiom so you can hear it in an English accent. There you go. Now, let's practice using the idiom to respond in these situations. So I'm going to read the situation, and you tell me what you can say to your friend, what you can say to respond. So I'm your friend. I'm complaining about paying taxes. Taxes are so high. I hate having to pay all these taxes to the government. But then later, maybe in another moment, I'm also complaining about the lack of city services. And we know that citizens must pay taxes in order for the government to use that money to provide city services. So that doesn't make sense. You can't complain about both of those things. So come on, what can you tell me? Okay, good. I hope you just said, "Ah, look, you can't have it both ways." Or, well, look, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, for the next one, my manager at work, I can't believe what he's been doing. He's been making all of us employees come in early, but he's not paying us for that extra time. And so one of my colleagues got fed up with it, and finally called the labor union to report this manager. How can you respond? What can you say in that conversation? You are absolutely right. Uh, That manager, he can't have his cake and eat it too. Okay. Now, my kids, they want to get good grades. They always want to have like all A's, the best grades in the class, but they hate studying. What's that you say? I know, you're absolutely right. They can't have their cake and eat it too. All right. Good job practicing. Now, we've been using this in the negative. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But what if I told you that you can have your cake and eat it too? Yes, you can also use this idiom in the positive sense. That means you can do two things at the same time or get two things at the same time that usually are not possible together. Okay, so here are some examples of that. For example, I worked at home so I could raise my kids and still earn money. I guess I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. Because, of course, in the past, it was impossible to do those two things simultaneously, but now it's possible. Okay, another example. I wanted to have a baby, and I also wanted to travel the world. That's always been my passion, to be a mother, to be a parent, and to be a world traveler. So I found a way to make it work. I had my cake and ate it too. So those are used in very positive situations. Now, here's me. Oh, back when I was so young in my 20s. And I happen to love cake and I love baking. So this was actually a chocolate cake that yours truly, baked and decorated. Oh, I need to bake again because I miss it. Anyway, it brings me such joy. I hope that you also have identified some simple things in life that bring you joy. Do those things. Do more of what gives you joy. So, anyway, now it's time for you to think of your examples so that you can practice speaking using these idioms. And remember, you can use the idiom, have your cake and eat it too, or you can use those three synonymous expressions, have it both ways. What was the other one? Do you remember? Have it both ways and butter your bread on both sides. And I forgot the third one. Anyway, so here are the two questions for you to respond to. Can you think of an example when you couldn't have your cake and eat it too? So when you were complaining about two things, but really they go hand in hand, so you can't complain about both. Or when you wanted to do two things or you wanted to have two things, but it was impossible to have both. Ah, I remembered the other expression. You can't have the best of both worlds. Okay, so I want you to think of your example when you couldn't have your cake and eat it too. You couldn't have the best of both worlds. And also think of your example of the positive meaning when you did have your cake and eat it too. When you you wanted two things and you did get both things. So just think about that. And you can write down your answer or you can speak it out loud. You can tell someone about it. So that's it. I hope that you have your cake and eat it too. Bye.